Okay, so I made a YouTube short video on display here on the NASDAQ. What we're going to do in this video is more of a long form video for educational purposes, and we are going to recap my trading on the NASDAQ for the 26th of February. Now, if we just zoom into this area over here, what we see is that the NASDAQ really opened up London, at least, in a very beautiful and perfect A plus bullish environment. For me, the direction was very clear, momentum was building up, and everything, and everything meaning price action, was suggesting that we're going to see a continuation towards the upside. For context, what I'm going to give you now is what is an A plus environment for me. I can have a bullish or a bearish A plus environment. In this case, we're in a bullish A plus environment. And that means that this indicator at the bottom, right there, is bullish. Now, this is a dynamic indicator. It adapts to the market and throughout the day can switch from bullish to neutral to bearish. While the other one is the POC, and that's this thing over here. And what that does is it basically takes all of the price action from yesterday and it prints me a line, a straight static line. This one does not change throughout the day. And it tells me where the majority of price action occurred in the previous day. So if we're above this level and the market stays bullish and we get out of the VWAP deviations towards the upside in this case, that would be classified a bullish market environment for me, an A plus bullish market environment. Anyhow, everything suggested that the market's going to continue going towards the upside, but markets don't warn you when the story changes. At the daily highs, what happened is structure started to shift. That's where I take my first losses for the day, and that's this little trades here and this one here. What happened is we started forming this head and shoulders right here. So left shoulder, right, sorry, left, head, right. You can see that, and that's right at the daily high. So you can see that we are into the daily high over here. We've made one attempt of a high, second attempt of a high, third attempt of a high. And if you measure these highs, what you're going to notice is weakness of the buyers. That's the difference here is just 0.04%, and from this one to this one, just 0.05%. You might be thinking the market's going up, but every time it comes up, shoots back down. Comes up a little bit, shoots back down. And then again, comes up, shoots back down. So that shows weakness of buying. And the same thing goes for selling. If the market, makes these free lower highs, but they're very short in distance from each other, percentage-wise, then that shows weakness. Anyhow, like I said, at the daily highs, structure started to shift, a head and shoulder started to form, and within moments, confidence in buys turned into a 2% sell-off, and you can see that from the peak up here to the bottom. So from its peak to its bottom, that's a 2.18% move. That's a big move towards the downside. Um, I did miss the initial break, and that's this what I'm circling here. So from peak, let's put it like this, I missed this move here. And I'm okay with that. I'm always okay with that because eventually the market does give me opportunities to get into the market again. Okay, I got distracted by a phone call, had to pause this, so let's continue. Um, like I said, I did miss my first break, this whole move over here, and that's exactly where the real lesson begun. So I'm going to go over two lessons in this video here that will probably help you with your own trading. And the first one is that the environment gives the bias, structure gives direction. So for me, the environment tells you what could happen, and that's this here, what could happen. Structure tells you what is happening. So early in the session, the bullish bias made a lot of sense, but markets evolve. And when structure changes at the highs, price was no longer asking for belief, it was giving information. Most traders, very guilty of this guy right here, very guilty of this. I used to get married to a direction, to that conviction that the market's just going to continue going up or down, and I would hold on to that expectation. But I came to a very simple realization that if I want to be a professional in this business and I want to treat trading like a real job that actually pays me, because that's what real jobs do, you do the work, you get paid. Professionals, they let structure rewrite the narrative. And That's how I design my trading system. It is very dynamic, and over here already, I dropped into an A plus selling environment. That doesn't mean I'm going to go gun ho on selling, and in fact, I do start taking profit into that A plus environment. Sure, I wanted to get towards the bottom here, and I go over that in the YouTube short. But I was very happy with my profit, and I just didn't want to give it back. I didn't want to wait for a retest of the POC here, even though it comes eventually. And you can see that there is a small head and shoulders right there, which I do trade. And again, my initial target was the same target as these first trades down here. I was about to watch a football game with my son. I didn't want to have distractions. I already made very good money shorting this market and buying it. So I got out. Now, not to keep this too long, but let's go over the first trades. So the first trades happen right over here where price action is out of the devs. London is about to open at 9 a.m. my time, which is right here. Let's find it right there. So London opens up and we hit this level here. We're forming higher lows. We're in an A plus environment. So the moment we come back to that low, I get into one, two, then back, retest again, higher low, 3, 4. So 4 trades. We do make a pretty nice push. I end up holding on to this because I really didn't understand where my profit target would be. And again, expectations were that the market could continue rallying. I was okay with taking a loss here. I made a very substantial profit the previous day. The market then comes back to the same level, pops out of it, comes back in. So I start buying some more, eventually bought a little bit more, and then realized this head and shoulders. Price gives me a support, pushes up, comes below that support, comes back in, take trades. Now, obviously, you see this arrow here, and that's from the previous YouTube short. And let me just explain to you again. I was targeting this as a profit. So I built up a pretty decent position, got out of it. We're in new highs, uncharted territory. I was waiting for a potential downside move. I was monitoring this pullback over here. I didn't take a trade. Eventually, I start taking trades over here. Just one more here. We're at the VWAP deviation. One more here, one more here. So that's 4. I start obviously keeping my eyes on these lows over here because I would like to get out if we start dropping further below that. We don't. We build a head and shoulders, reversed. So I start sizing up more, size up some more. This is not flawless execution, especially these ones here, but it still did its job. While I'm in these trades, what's very important to note is that I'm very focused on the structure of the market. And if we look at the structure of the market found the bottom over here, then went up here, then came there, then went up here, and then came down here. So while I was holding these positions, my main kind of concentration was this low, and I would have maybe built a little bit more if we came to it. But I mean, my narrative and ideas about trades change. Usually, I'm just very quick in terms of TPSL, and you can see that over here. Why do I mean this? The narrative changed here because look at the market. Look how it's behaving. It's like very choppy, very up down, but it's forming higher lows. So that's the reason I, took that play. Plus, I had a pretty nice profit already to work with here. So, coming out at break even here was not going to hurt me. Even though I noticed the head and shoulders over here, it still made me follow the system. So low, push down, we went below it, came back in, took 2 trades, took an L, no problem. We did the same thing here, support, VWAP dev, we're still in a bullish environment, still above the POC. I don't know what's going to work out, what's not. I saw the head and shoulders, so I took 2 more. They started working out, they failed, I got out. Market started tumbling. New York opens up. A lot of aggression here. And this is the most important part here. So I'd like to go over the second lesson, which is you do not need the first move. You need the confirmed move. That's the lesson here. And that's what I'm going to explain right here. So the first move belongs to emotion. And I've lost a lot of money to emotion. So I try not to chase markets. The confirmed move belongs to patience. Do you want to trade with emotion or do you want to trade with patience? I choose patience. So I don't care about the first move. I know that the market's going to give me another opportunity. And if it doesn't today, it's going to give it to me tomorrow. It's quite simple. I've done this long enough to understand that. So, like I said, the first move belongs to emotion. The confirmed move belongs to patience. Write this down. Super important. Missing the initial drop did not remove the opportunity for me. What it did do is remove the uncertainty for me, which was vital. Once momentum proved itself Execution became precise, very calm, very controlled. Trading isn't a race to be early, it's a decision to be aligned. And this is where things get quite interesting for me. So after this red candle was established over here, right there, see the market goes down. We come back into that high, which is this closing area here. Start going below. I take two trades. You can see two little dots right there, pop up. So I think I sized up. Yeah, 15 lots. I started sizing up here. I was trading with five over here, five lots here, and then 15 lots here. Then we do the same thing. We come out of this zone. My definite exit would have been obviously the VWAP dev, but I would very quickly re-execute positions if it gets stopped out and the confirmation would come back. So as the price is coming down, I'm monitoring this. I get in here, we go down, we make another little pullback over here. So we go down, we go up, we go down. I took a trade here. We established the lower high, come into it. I took a little bit of an impulsive trade here, but I took a perfect one there. And perfect exit. The reason I'm getting out of this is because there is no shading. Okay, so what we do, the reason I'm getting out here, and sorry if I'm confused or if I'm not continuing what I was talking about, I had to mute this video. Um, the reason I'm getting out is because you can see this here. Look, so this is another part of the indicator. So a lot of action happens here, this shaded area. And then you see like barely any action, and then we have action over here. So as we come to that zone, that's exactly where I get out. Once we make a pullback, and do the same thing one more time. We made a high, we started going down, we retest that high. I get in, I see that we're still holding, so I take two more here. As we break, horrible entry here, but it is what it is. I've already locked this in. We make mistakes, we're all human. I take this one, so that's free. We break the POC, and I get out right at the end of the shaded area. Even though I wanted to take it down here to the next level, same thing, like shade, no shade, shade. That was originally my idea, to get out pretty much there. Um, I I guess I was just done. So then I wait for more opportunities. I map the previous high. Nothing happens here. Then we come to the POC, and this is where my conviction seriously increases. I still didn't size down, so we've got shoulder, head, shoulder, previous high, go above it, go below. So two levels here. We got the POC two. And as we come below, one, two, three, one more over here. Again, this is not the best entry. Then you can see that I do start building a little bit here again, but very quickly I get out. And like I said, my initial target was again to go towards the downside here, but the football game was starting at 6:30, and that's 3 minutes before the game. That's 6:30, 6:27 right there. I close, but at the end of the day, I still map because you can see here pullback. The market gives me a beautiful opportunity right there to get in. And yeah, the rest is history. So the market will change direction without asking permission from us. It doesn't care. Your advantage isn't in predicting, it's pretty much awareness. When you stop trying to control outcomes and start listening to price, the market stops feeling chaotic. You don't need to trade what you hope will happen. What you need to do is trade what the market reveals. And if you can find an indicator that can help you with that, it can even be the VWAP. I mean, there's many indicators. You can use a moving average and so forth to create yourself that kind of directional threshold, that will significantly improve your game. Because as you guys can see, like up here, I'm just looking to buy, and all of my buys are coming at almost bottoms. As the market is creating bottoms, that's where I'm getting in. And when I'm selling, you can see that I'm, you know, pretty much my execution is when the market's up. A couple of, I mean, two poor executions, this one and this one. But aside from that, it's like pretty much flawless. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm not showing off in any way. I'm just, telling you guys that that's like, um, that's the thing that's, keeping it all together. So to end this video, like I said, the market will always communicate before it moves. If you're just willing to listen to it, you're you're gonna have an edge. And your edge is not in prediction, it's in adaptation. When you stop trying to control outcomes and start reading price objectively, the market stops feeling random. You don't need to trade what you expect. You need to trade what the market is revealing. That's my 2 cents. Okay, so that's 15 minutes already. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.